Hello, this will be a part 2 of the video I just recorded. This will be the voice aspect. But I was talking about the number 555 and then I was guided to open Instagram and the first thing that popped up was 555. I'm sure it's like, maybe it heard me, but either way, it says, get ready to feel the magic very soon. Everything will fall into place for you in the most beautiful and unexpected way. Trust the divine timing and know that the angels are working behind the scenes to guide you toward your highest good. And then it just says, like, type I trust it and share this post, of course. But I wanted to share that. And it's 12:55 on the clock right now. And there's a 5 in the title of the voice. It, like, if you've used the voice app, it, like, gives you a title. And there's something about the numerological 5 here for someone. And there's, like, a collective. I was talking about transitions, and I felt guided to watch this movie that popped up on my feed that I have not thought of in so long. It's a bit cheesy, to be honest, but it's called Simply Irresistible. And then, of course, there's a song, Simply Irresistible, so that phrase could be coming up for someone. But in the movie, it's like a love dynamic, but it also goes into like passion, trust in oneself, putting someone's self out there, like mirroring vulnerability. So this could be coming through for some of you. Like, you may also be seeing repeating 2s and 6s and 7s. I'm getting a lot of numbers. You could be seeing balloons, in particular orange balloons, but balloons in general. And my nephew says balloon, and apparently that's how I said it when I was a kid. So that could be like, maybe you were around a kid who said something like similar, or, you know, there could just be a connection there. But also red flowers. I feel like I just needed to take like such a breath. Like I almost felt like I couldn't breathe for a moment. Like, and I've been coming out of a phase where I have been sort of having like difficulty taking deep breaths in like the last day or so, maybe. I don't know. Linear time's a little rough right now. I feel like I've been able to breathe better. I was purging for like weeks, maybe even longer. Lots of like chest congestion, head congestion, and then like I say in the first part of this transmission, like something's starting to clear. So someone could be having like a physical release. The word glow up has been coming through a lot. You maybe it's starting to get more like external reflection back to you about like something that you've been internally working with. That message has been coming through in different ways for quite a bit now. I also was getting a lot of swelling, and I've been doing lymphatic drainage, but I was still experiencing swelling. And I'm finally starting like whatever I've been integrating, like micro changes, are finally starting to feel like they're showing results. So it feels like there's something like that for someone. It doesn't have to be specifically with the lymph system. I'm seeing the limbic system, the parasympathetic nervous system. It could also be with, physical movement. And the Japanese practice Kaizen. I hope I'm saying that correctly. I think it's Kaizen, perhaps. The idea of like implementing micro changes. Also, microwaves are coming through. And I am not telling anyone what to do or not to do in any way. I'm just pulling through. So I've always had this like, for as long as I can remember, when I was little, I would use the microwave because that's like what I was taught. And I remember just like not wanting to do it. And then I got to a certain age. I can't tell you what age. Probably like teenager, early 20s, late teens ish, perhaps. And I just like never wanted to use the microwave. And it still does. Like a lot of people that I've met, like, yeah, I get a lot of negative, is that the right word? Just like pushback. I remember I used to live with someone in a relationship, and like I never used the microwave, and it like upset that person. Anyway, so I just saw this video pop up on my feed, like, years after not using the microwave. I think a friend of mine cooked something and she knows I don't like the microwave, but she didn't tell me until after I ate it. And I was like, ugh. So like inadvertently it may have happened, but consciously I have not used one in I can't tell you how long. Anyway, so I'm bringing this up because apparently in like traditional Chinese medicine or like different practices, they believe not using the microwave because it like energetically essentially like kills the food. And I'm not saying this is like 100% fact, of course, but I just wanted to bring that through because all these years for myself of like having that feeling of just not wanting to use it and then seeing that was like very just, I knew it didn't just come from nowhere, even though I felt that intuitively. So there could be, it doesn't have to be that exact thing, but there could be something that you were just always naturally like gravitating towards or like something you wanted to do or didn't want to do. And there could be like an external explanation, validation, something coming forth to like show you that. That won't be for everyone. That was just, and it doesn't have to be about the microwave, but the word incandescence, to heat and emit light, essentially, has been coming through. In fact, I think I'm going to make it the title of part 1 and part 2. This is part 2 of these transmissions. And the first one I recorded in a hot tub. So it's like heat, water, the fire element, the water element. There's something about like alchemizing the, like in Ayurveda, pitta is fire, I believe. So there's something about like the alchemization of, whatever, like you may be experiencing heartburn or something about like excess internal heat and the incandescence of the alchemy of transmuting the internal manifestation of excess heat or fire and channeling that into the next octave of consciousness, the next octave of experiential life. That phrase keeps coming through. And from this result, is that correct? It just flew out of my mouth. That's where this like glow is emitting from within. And I always think of like the bioluminescent beings in the sea, the chromatophores, like on an octopus. Like there's something about the crystalline DNA being alchemized and activated and like manifesting through. And I always talk about like the heliotalic sun emanations or the light emanations of the pastel spectrum. And those of us who are tuning into those dimensional like wave frequencies are literally starting to emanate this. And so the eyes, right? I was talking about the eyes. So some of you may be seeing auras, or maybe you'll start seeing them. It's actually about to be sunset right now where I am, and it looks so beautiful. I can't see the full sunset, but yeah, so you may get like a glimpse of some of these like etheric templates integrating and grounding. There also may be some more like the metallic spectrum coming in. And if you don't see auras or magnetic fields, you may be like perceiving it in from other senses. It may come through in different ways for different people. And no matter where you are, whether you're just starting to experience this or you're having a deepening of it, you're teaching it, you're utilizing these colors through like fashion or design, art in some way, artistic expression, a braiding of all of these things. Yeah, this feels like really, really prominent right now. Like a wave of us that are tuned into this are utilizing it and expressing it in our own design codes. And then there's like this ripple effect. And it's so interesting. I just realized this. I came to the park with my family, and there were these ginormous like pastel bubbles that this guy was like using a bubble machine. Not even a machine, like this like device. And I do have a video. Maybe I'll try and insert a clip. It was so cool. Anyway, so it feels like it was capturing, like I always think of the Glinda the Good Witch, or Galinda the Good Witch from The Wizard of Oz, which is so funny. I just realized I watched a story, like a toddler version of The Wizard of Oz the other day, and it's all just kind of connecting now, the dots and the bubbles. And when you talk about Glinda the Good Witch in the bubble, it's esoterically supposed to, or like the occult symbolism is, you know, the Merkaba. So it feels like there's this also, they're showing me like the incandescence of a Merkaba and the alchemy of, again, like the heat birthing this next, I say next, you know, the next octave of the Merkaba being shown, like the Christic lineages, and the Aquafarians have been coming through, and like the Andromedan galaxy, the next harmonic universe. Like these are some of the ways that these codes are coming in. And I just got to Seattle, I mentioned, and it's so I kept feeling the auroras, which are said to emanate from that next harmonic universe through Andromeda galaxy. And when I kept feeling their energy, and when I got to Seattle, the main boulevard that I'm staying near is Aurora Boulevard or Aurora Road, something. So yeah, there's so many weavings of these. They're showing me now, this comes through every once in a while, the frequency bands. There's something about the frequency bands, and I'm seeing like a little bit of static, but then it's almost like the static that I'm being shown is like that spark. Like sometimes we perceive static as, well, just that static, but this doesn't feel like empty static. It's like something is being ignited, you know, to shake things up and bring in the next formation. And I just looked at the clock, and it's 4:44 as I'm bringing through this part of the message. So you could be seeing 4:44 or repeating fours. And the park that I'm at is called Gasworks Park. I'm not sure why that feels relevant, but just in case there's something, yeah, there's something about like plasma gas and I just heard the word Venus. So I'm being shown like veins, like the Venus mirroring what the veins do in the body, and then something energetically. So I will look that up and see what the connection is, but also like the planet Venus, which is said to be like the headquarters of our solar system. This is interesting. I have not sat with this, but I just saw, like, because the energy of this was changed, right? 555. There's something about like the alleged headquarters of Venus. There's like a shift. They're showing me like a movement in that. So there may be like, I'm getting this in real time, so I'm just going to trust it. I'm being shown like a, not just a shift, but like an expansion. So there's, oh, and as I'm saying this, there's a white feather right in front of me. I did not notice before. You could be seeing white feathers, right? So white purification, integration of the chakras or the energetic centers. There's something like that rainbow and the different shades and scales of rainbow frequency integrating into a white light and then rebirthing itself into that next formation. And I want to see where I'm being taken to. So if we look at the idea of Venus being the headquarters, right? If we take that literally or also metaphorically, like in anthropology. No, I meant to say anthroposophy. Someone could be studying anthropology, but in anthroposophy, there could be this, like, they say like Venus is the future or like more ascended high self of Earth, or like the sister of Earth or something of this nature. So there's something like the expansion of that is taking on, at least from our perspective, may have always been there, but it feels like we are stepping into an expanded, excuse me, big release. Actually, I just felt a little bit of that heartburn, so if you're not having heartburn in particular, there may be some other form of excess heat in the body. Like you could be having like skin breakouts, rashes. When or if this happens, yeah, there's something about taking that as fuel, so like fuel to the fire, and like, again, like channeling that into some sort of passion project. I just heard the word charisma. Maybe someone here, this won't be for everyone, but whether it's charisma or something, if you're having this excess heat, it also may be like you're kind of, this is interesting. So when the bubbles were blown today, I was standing in back of one of the bubbles, and it was coming right at me, and someone jumped in front of me and popped the bubble. And it was like, yeah, someone who's like, what's that, like bursting your bubble or like popping your buttons, or like you feel like you can't fully express yourself in certain scenarios. It may be like manifesting as this excess like agitation or repressed. As soon as I was saying that, my ears pressure shifted, and last night I heard a really, really high pitched frequency. Like it was so high I almost missed it because there was a lot going on around me. But I stopped for a second and I heard it come in, and it was so interesting because it was almost like watching a plane descend. Like I was able to hold it and like let it descend into my field. So you may be getting more attuned to working with some of these like frequencies, whether it's clairaudiently, clairvoyantly, multiple. You may be having synesthesia where you're like hearing sound. I meant to say seeing sound, hearing color, things like this. And as I'm speaking, the sky is like, whoa. I just like put my hand up and started to lower it, and there was a bug that literally mimicked exactly what I was doing at the same time. The sky is turning this like pastel-y blue, pink, a little bit of violet, a little bit of maybe orange. Yeah. I just walked by a pole and it said fairies are real, but I've been seeing like the word fae in so many non-assuming places, and I've been feeling that energy around really strongly. So some of you could be tapping into that as well. I'm also being shown like what a lot of us call inner earth, or I'm hearing Lemuria, Shambhala. I'm hearing Kumbaya. Okay, so I'm a little bit stuffy. I'm actually like finishing this transmission maybe 2 days later. So it just sounds like probably one long message, which it is, but it's being recorded in piecemeal. Piecemeal? Okay, so my ears are pressure shifting. I went to this beautiful place today in Washington State, like the first island outside of Seattle. And my ears were pressure shifting so much, and I'm still purging out like sinuses and like I haven't had a skin breakout in a really long time, and I'm having like a breakout on the side of my face anyway. And I kept feeling the auroras coming through, and I was speaking of them, I believe, in the beginning of this transmission. Excuse me. I wasn't going to record because of my congestion, but I feel like it's part of the energy because, well, I had already been feeling that, but then I haven't like sat with it long enough until right now, like a minute or two, and I was doing a favor for my sister, and I opened the front door. It's night out, it's nighttime, and I looked in the sky, not even intentionally, I just kind of looked up and I saw this blue light flash, and I looked around and there was nothing logically, and you know, if you can, it's funny, I've been talking a lot about plasma fields and visuals through the plasma fields, and yeah, it was like this flash of blue light, and it felt very like etheric, like it didn't really look like it was coming from here. I mean, it could have been, but I really don't think so. And as soon as I said that, I felt something tap me on the back of my right hand. ever so slightly. So there's something about like the subtleties and nuances, which I know I highlighted a lot in the fall of 2025. We're now in the winter of 2026. So that theme is kind of carrying through. And I wanted to also say that I opened my Instagram, and I don't remember what she calls herself, but someone posted like, are you having sinuses, rashes? And a lot of us that are tuned into ascension symptoms, and I know I have such a like discernment when I talk about these things. Well, I try to. So I know some people believe that like you're just perpetuating a limiting belief if you have ascension symptoms. And like, oh, when I said that, I felt like a sciatica, like the right right sciatica. So someone may be having like hip sciatica issues. Excuse me, especially if you're someone who's really tuned into the collective and like purges for the collective. And yeah, I still go through this. So please like trust yourself. And the last thing I ever want to do is like make anyone feel like a victim, or like they're doing something to themselves. Like I genuinely, like when I started feeling, I even said to my sister, like, I don't really get allergies that often. And I was like, I feel like I'm having an allergy attack. Like my sinuses, all this stuff just started like building up. It started this morning, and then it's been like going in and out throughout the day. So anyway, so when I clicked on, or I didn't even click, I just opened Instagram, and is her name Roxy? I have to look at her. Earth 1111, I think she calls herself. She posted an update, and she was saying something about a G4 magnetic storm with the auroras. And I've been seeing symbolism about the auroras all day. And remember, I like recorded the beginning of this message. I keep saying this message at the beginning, before I even saw any of these confirmations. So that just really, echoed what I was already, or reverberated what I had already been bringing through. Even though I didn't post it yet. Excuse me. So I just noticed I'm using this glass bottle as water, and it's sparkling water. I know I'm going to butcher this name, Gerolsteiner. It's supposed to be one of the higher content mineral waters. I'm not sure why I felt guided, or sparkling. I'm not sure why I felt guided to say that, but maybe someone's been drinking that lately. I'm also like feeling or seeing ice, the rune Isa, and one moment, I feel like I need to sit with this for okay, so a few of the themes I was bringing through, the word charisma, downtown, the song Downtown, and there was another one right on the way home from the park I was at when I was recording some of those specific energetic strands. My brother-in-law said the word charisma. It just like, I don't hear him saying that often. It was just like right after I said it. And then on the way home, my sister was driving and like missed an exit or something. So we wound up going downtown, even though technically we weren't quote supposed to. And I was just giggling. I didn't tell them that, and everyone was like, oh, like upset that she missed the exit, blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden we're finally like back on the route facing their neighborhood. But we were still downtown, and the stadium like started setting off these like beautiful, very like neon pink fireworks. And they were like so close to us. Like they looked like you could just reach out and touch them. So, and there was another synchronicity that happened on the way. I just can't remember what it was at the moment. So, when something happens where like it seems like a quote, like mistake or a detour, but then synchronistic things line up to show you, like maybe that was meant to click into the highest blueprint. So I'm seeing these different occurrences happening, and then like I'm hearing like a snowball effect. I actually heard a different term that I know is like a drug term. I don't know why I heard it, but I'll see the word speed and then ball. So someone could have been talking about that recently, or I don't know why that's coming up, but I think that's a term. Anyway, so the pink fireworks just were so unexpected and such a surprise. And then, like I said, there were a few other things that happened. So yeah, there may be these like micro surprises that are recalibrating you on a macro scale, that's bringing in this like every time I go to say that, I keep feeling this energy in the right. I'm also seeing screws. Maybe someone like has screws or metal in their, I'm getting the hip specifically. It's coming in on my right side, but sometimes I'm backwards. Now I just felt it on the left side. So yeah, it feels like there's a lot going on in the hips, the sciatica, the root, the solar, the sacral. But then I was getting all of this symbolism today around the okay, there's so much coming in. The heart and the throat meeting in the thymus, the high heart, the mother arc, the 13th gate. There's something coming in. So I often see, especially in relation to like hieroglyphic templates, or if you want to call it like a divine union, however that manifests for you. It doesn't have to be romantic, but it can be, or there's like many layers to it. This green glow. And I've talked about it before, and I started seeing it, and I wasn't exactly sure what was coming from it. I especially see it in doorways and in window linings, you know what I mean? Like window, the word isn't coming to me, windowsills. And today I was just sort of letting my eyes get heavy. I wasn't trying to see anything, and I saw that same glow, but instead of it being the same shade of green I've been seeing for like 5 years, it was actually like a slight, I took a photo of a drink that I made and I posted it somewhere on my socials somewhere. It was like that color, like this not quite turquoise, but like if green and blue mixed together in like a turquoise aqua. It was more like aqua with like a golden glow. It was, I love that color. It was so beautiful. And as soon as I said that, my right hand just like started to contract a bit. Pulsate, what's the right word? Pulse. Oh, the song's been coming up. I Want to Hold Your Hand from the Beatles. There could be something there. And my left nostril is like itching a little bit. Woo! Anyway, so it feels like this this heart energy is like integrating with the throat, and like there's something being spoken or expressed from the heart, whether it's from you, from someone you're connected to, both as a collective. It's like that's this next pulse wave of if you want to say like a theme, I guess like in the year of the horse, or whenever you're finding this, there's like that. This feels like a very important theme that's coming up. I'm seeing like a bunch of keys and like key holes, and then it's like there was this show. What was it? I heard in my head 50 First Dates. I don't know why I was not trying to say that, but it was a show, Schitt's Creek. And one of the episodes, they do like a dating thing where there's all these keys and these locks, and it's like you have to go around and try and find who fits your lock, something like that. But then, yeah, there's something about that. I don't know, maybe someone was just watching that, but there's something about that scene and that symbolism coming through. I feel like I'm speaking into like a very acoustically sensitive, like with my ears right now pressure shifting so much, it's like I'm highly sensitive to like sound. Like everything sounds amplified, so a lot of us can be going through an inner ear expansion is what I'm hearing, which I was talking about the Inner Earth and the Feyroms, etc. So now that I'm going through this experience physically, like cellularly purging, I see the connection even deeper now. So let me see something. The most like seemingly random songs are popping into my head. Apple bottom jeans, boots with the fur. I just heard that. I forget who sings it. If anyone remembers, feel free to. I also just heard Cat's Eye, Moonstone. So today, when I went to this beautiful place, we stumbled upon I'm hearing the word riddle, but it's not a riddle. A labyrinth. A riddle. I used to love riddles when I was younger. Maybe someone else likes riddles. So labyrinths could be significant. The movie Labyrinth, walking meditation. And in this labyrinth, there were like hidden moonstone. I think there were 10 moonstone like pieces like in the labyrinth, and it was like a goal to find them. I don't know why that feels like significant in some way. I just feel like reading some of the metaphysical properties of moonstone. Intuition, divine feminine energy, emotional balance, and new beginnings linked to lunar cycles for inner calm, stress relief, and enhanced psychic abilities, while also serving as a protective talisman, especially for travelers and during childbirth. So something, of this nature can be coming up for you or just did. Fostering love and spiritual growth. Different colors like rainbow moonstone boost creativity and hope, while peach moonstone soothes the heart and mind. And I keep seeing black moonstone. I don't even know if that's a thing. Yeah, it is. Symbolizes clarity during dark times, like a full moon in darkness. Oh, that's beautiful. The Traveler's Stone, love and fertility, protection. Whew. Now I'm hearing, what are they called? Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. I don't know how I know that, but I heard that clear as day in my head. I feel like it's from, not a mnemonic device, but like, is it a mnemonic device? Something like that. I don't know why that's coming through. Someone may like utilize that to memorize things, that type of thing. Okay, repeating signs and symbols that have been coming up the last few days. Tigers, which I'm being shown like a white tiger with blue eyes, and I'm also being shown the number 13. Again, that like there's like a lot of divine feminine or that mother arc energy is like Sophia codes, like really, really present right now. Cupcakes. Especially like cupcakes with like pinks and reds, whites, pearl, strawberry, things like that. Also like champagne. I don't know why I'm seeing like a champagne frosted cupcake or something. Like I'm seeing like kids like strawberry or like pearl champagne frosting, like fancy elegant cupcakes. Rabbits have been coming up a lot. Excuse me. Pegasi, the constellation Pegasus could be coming through. And again, that blue light flash that I saw, there could be these like etherically glowing, if you want to call it, some maybe viewing them or perceiving things as portals, orbs. Like it feels like there's a surge in the reciprocity of the manifested plasma field. So like people may be perceiving it more, so it's actually starting to anchor in a more perceivable way. It's really the basis of that. I was just being shown Gwen Stefani. Also Stewie from Family Guy. And then like stew. I don't know, like tomato bean stew or something, like white bean tomato stew. Okay. I just sneezed multiple times in a row. And I felt like I was clearing out something so strong. And I looked at the clock and it was 10:10. And then I looked at the wall and I saw this like very, almost like, what are the micro tattoos? It was like a very micro size heart, but in the center, like where the point connects in the center of the heart, there were, it's like, if you follow the line down past the center and then make like a swirl on each side. I know I'm not explaining that perfectly, but I don't know why I was seeing that so specifically. Yeah, someone may like draw on themselves as like a doodle thing, or like doodle things. Maybe you want a micro tattoo or just a tattoo on the hand. I'm seeing the wrist, the inner wrist. Henna, something like that feels significant. I just heard tres leches cake. You may be craving like sweet milk or condensed milk or like sweet, milky, creamy things. It's funny because I was talking a lot about the incandescence and potential excess heat in the body. Yeah, so there's something about like sweet and creamy, or creamy and frothy, something of that nature. Honey. Okay, so this is like the next day again. This is taking like multiple days to record. And I woke up today and I saw 10:10 on the clock. And I know last night I was talking about 10:10. And I took a photo of the Ferris wheel in Seattle yesterday. There's a lot of like Ferris wheel. And it's funny because on the ferry yesterday that we took, my nephew was like 3.5 and he was confusing a ferry and a Ferris wheel, and he was calling the ferry a Ferris boat. So there's something about like, right, 10, Wheel of Fortune, the wheel, Karma Dharma, and then like the boat makes me think of like the Three of Wands and like ships coming in, because the ferry was pretty big, you know, and like we were seeing all these other ferries passing us. I don't know, there's something about that. Anyway, I woke up this morning at like 5 a.m. and I just like needed to lay there and do just like light massage and lymphatic drainage and listen to meditation music. I just felt like that's what I needed. And then I fell back to sleep and I woke up feeling like a little bit worse actually. And I just let myself kind of like lay there. I made myself some warm water with medicinal honey that my brother-in-law just bought. Oh my God, so good. And spirulina and a little bit of broth. I know that might sound like a weird combination, but that's what I felt like I needed. And I sipped that, and yeah, I just laid there for a bit. And then I was reminded of just like lymphatic jumping and different, like, I guess it's Tai Chi. There's like different practices that people say they coined from different places, but I know a lot of them are like ancient Asian practices. Anyway, so I got myself up and did a little bit of those, and I could feel like the clearing. I'm still a little bit congested, as you can hear, but I'm now able to like move, which is nice. So I'm sharing this because there's something about like knowing your body and trusting your body and like what it needs. Sometimes like I hear things from other people, and you know, not as much anymore, but I used to like always doubt my own self kind of thing, you know. So some of you could be going through something similar. It doesn't have to be with necessarily physical symptoms, but yeah, it seems to be coming in that way. And I actually think I'm going to wrap this up here. I know that there's so many energetic strands, as I call them. I just saw something being frayed, like an energetic strand being frayed. So you may be connecting with like the red string theory. There's also, you may be finding red strings. There's also an aspect of this that feels like I don't know, I was just shown a haiku. A haiku. Okay, and then I kept hearing the fates last night, or like some point yesterday. Excuse me. And when I tried to put it, I have like a list. You may have heard me say before, if you've heard any of my transmissions previously, that I take like just notes of whatever I feel is relevant. And I was writing the fates and it kept autocorrecting to dates. So now it just says, I sometimes leave things that autocorrect multiple times because it tends to be a message. So now I have the dates, fates. So it seems like there may be like a, if you want to call it like a fated date, or a date with the fates, or a fate with the dates. I don't know, something of this nature. Some of you could be like eating dates or craving dates, but there seems to be, the 3 fates could be relevant. The fates. Oh, so then after I heard that repeatedly, something popped up on my feed, and one of the first things that the person mentioned, I honestly don't remember who it was to give them credit, but it was just confirming what I was feeling. They mentioned the fates, and I was like, okay, yeah, I knew I was feeling that. I also went to bed with my hair wet, which I don't do that often anymore. And my hair right now looks like a chia pet. Do you remember chia pets? I don't know why I'm thinking of chia pets. I have chia pet hair at the moment. Not for long though. I actually have an interview today. Well, it's like a pre-interview. I haven't had an interview. I can't even tell you how long. Anyway, I'm sharing that because, why am I sharing that? I'm not going to get into that now. It just, perhaps someone here is also going through some sort of process like this. Okay. That's all. Thank you.